I am so excited. We're going to do some painting with you today. I have over 1,000 viewers now, guys. I am so excited. Thank you so much for all my YouTube support and joining me here. I haven't been able to do too many lives since I moved into my new studio, and things are definitely starting to slow down and getting organized. And yeah, I want to start coming back and doing some lives for you. I used to do them over on my Facebook group, and I thought with my YouTube followers growing that I would definitely start to come and do them over here, and then we can always share them back over there. So how are you today? Who's joining me today? Hopefully you guys are finding me. Let's see, I'm not used to all this YouTube stuff here, so I'm looking at everybody, checking out to see if you have found me. Thank you guys for joining me today. We're gonna do a fun and skull painting. It's going to be lots of fun. I've got a few things to show you back here. All right, but this is what we're going to be doing today. And I did it on a board, a wood board, but you guys can do it on a canvas or canvas paper or whatever you guys want. Just lagging on here, make sure that a few more people find me here. I'd love to do a draw today. Somebody's going to win a free project, maybe even give away a 5-day series program. We did some 5 weeks on Zoom, some courses, and I have some fruit and 2 different flower series and an intro program there with lots of bonus projects attached to them as well. And hopefully we'll get enough people here so we can do a raffle at the end. Who's with us today? I'm sure that as we keep going, more and more people will start to pop on. And I might have to edit out the lag in the beginning here a little bit. Who do we have to join me? Facebook sent me to YouTube. Yeah. Oh, well, you'll have to subscribe and hit the bell so that when I go live, then you guys will know when I'm doing something on here. And of course, I'll be sharing all the events on Facebook too, but definitely I pop on some free videos every once in a while on here, and you'll get a notification if you hit the bell as well. So there's 2 parts to this process. You gotta subscribe and hit the bell. It's for you guys that are new here. And awesome, welcome. We're gonna do a floral skull painting today, and show you how I did a simple faux barn board style background. And then also, if you want to bump it up, I've got some extras I'm going to throw into here. I did this a little bit simple, and then of course as I look at it after a couple days, I always say, oh, I should have added that, I should have added this, oh, maybe I'll add that. So this is what the fun part of classes is that usually the second time I always add some little extra things. So yeah, we've got a few projects that are coming up in August I want to share with you guys. And as you guys are popping on, please say hello. Let me know you're here. And I'll show you guys. Some of you might have seen, this is a Donna Dewberry pack that I got, and I redid, and a lot of people are still having a hard time with their basic strokes. And I found that this project was so wonderful to be able to practice all of those strokes. So if you want to come and join me for this August 9th, we're going to be doing the Spring Joy. And then also, if you see, I did another little twist on another style of butterfly up here that we can learn. And you can also do that kind of style on those other projects that we did before with other butterflies. So definitely, yeah, lots and lots of loose strokes in here, different flip and flopping, extra little details in making those flowers pop out. And then, of course, scruffy brush, if you're having a hard time with those, definitely we're going to tackle a few different areas where we're going to be using our scruffy brushes. And then also a lot of chisel strokes and our one stroke leaves. So like I said, it's very, very simple. Where it's simple basic strokes, but definitely it's a nice way of layering it all together. And I did this on an 10 by 20 canvas, guys, so if you can find this size, definitely you can do that, or you can even spread it out a little bit more and shorten it a little bit more and do it on a 16 by 20 or even a 12 by 16 if you want. So definitely these long skinny frames are quite in style now. You can get them in different sizes. Sometimes you can even get them 6 by 12s, and if you really want to downsize and do these in a smaller stroke, definitely there's really no size restriction on your canvas on this. It's definitely going to be all about one stroke and how to be able to lay out those patterns and map yourself out. You know, it's all about practice and getting having some fun at the same time. And a really soft, subtle background that we did with some magenta fading right off into a white and then coming right back up into the blue. So, you know, again, disciplining yourself to be able to get those nice, soft, smoky backgrounds in there, and popping it up with some real nice small flowers. Okay, so if you see down in the link down below, you will see the events page, and that's where you can click on to join us and save your seat, and you'll get a Zoom code. And the day before, I send out the PDF if there's a pattern or any practice sheets that go along with it that you might need before the class. Or with this one, definitely you'll be getting the PDF after, and we'll update it with any sheets that I do in class with you guys. It's usually what I do is I add to the PDFs after, and then I'll give you the link for the video, so you guys can see it and or watch it on my site. Okay, you guys haven't seen this one yet. Gone fishing. What do you think of gone fishing? It's a rainbow trout. I've done a few of these in the past. They were always big sellers at my markets, and I've done them bigger. So I wanted to start making some smaller ones. And I thought I'd also share one of them with you. I've done the bass, I've done a walleye. Excuse me. Gotta breathe. And this is the rainbow trout. So there's a lot of rivers around here up in Canada, and one of the biggest in this little area here is the rainbow trout. Up north where I grew up, everybody's all like pickerel, walleye fishermen, but definitely down here people were asking for the rainbow trout, and I love all the different colors and how I softly put them all together and blended them into like an ombre effect. And then also, yes, there is a pattern for this guy as well, for definitely to get you started. And then also a pattern for the gone fishing guys, okay? So you don't have to do this freehand. I have a pattern for you guys to do it. And again, you can do it. If you grab any board, you can paint on any wood surface, any shape, and then, or even a canvas, all right? This makes a great Christmas gift. If you guys have fishermen in your family, definitely you gotta start working on some of these projects now, because Christmas will be here before you know it. So I thought this would definitely be a nice gift for you guys to be able to give away. So you guys got to comment and let me know what you think about gone fishing here. All right, you like that? Hey Dorothy, you made it, yay, awesome. I got 4 viewers here so far. I know I have to make a new link, so it might be a few of you having a hard time finding me today. I just kind of slowly telling you guys what's coming up in August. Well, I'm waiting for you guys to all pop on, and then also I'm going to be doing a draw at the end if you stay with me to the end, okay? So, like I said, I got to watch a couple different cameras, I got to watch some feeds and comments, and one-man band here, guys, and hopefully you guys seen the gone fishing that I just did with the rainbow trout. So that's going to be August 16th. They're both Tuesdays at 6 o'clock in the evening Eastern time. All right, if you guys want to join me, $15 pre-launch specials after the event. They go on my site, they're $25. So jump on these courses now. If you can't make the date, no problem. You will still get the recording and be able to jump on my site member access. Okay, so a lot of people can't download the videos, so I have built a site where you'll be able to watch all the videos on there. So that's the August 16th, and then we're going to do a nice simple spring joy on the 8th or 9th, is Tuesdays. Okay, so it's in the events calendar. Just look at the links in the description below, and you'll be able to see where the sign-up area is. Okay, you'll automatically get the Zoom code and general price supply list to get you started, and then we will definitely send you out the recording after the event. Okay, so hopefully you guys will join me for that. And if you guys are interested in doing a lot more stroke work, definitely all the courses have continued more practice and more little tricks and tips that I do in all of my projects. But if you need like a step-by-step, baby step process, I definitely have a full program now that I've made, and with advanced courses to go on and keep pushing yourself. So the first basic 6 I'm going to be raffling off today, and then it actually keeps going to, like, I got 14 courses now in the ultimate package deal. So when you jump on those, they're definitely $25 each, but then I've got bundle deals on my site, so they work out a lot cheaper when you buy them by the bundle. So if you guys have any questions, guys, about anything, please feel free to check out my website. There's links there to email me. You can message me on Facebook. Definitely anytime, I'm here to answer any of your questions. And then also push you guys to keep learning more too. Like if you want to jump on your level 1 and level 2 and level 3 is actually coming soon, where we're going to be playing with some pace. Oh my God, this is my element, guys. I love playing with multimedia and real chunky, thick backgrounds and different ways of playing around with these pace. Oh my God, we have some more new courses coming up that I promise you that we're going to be playing with. And then, like I said, the level 3, if you really want to get certified, jump on 1 and 2 first if you haven't done any of the certs. Donna Dewberry has a wonderful program set out, and then definitely it pushes you every level, pushes you more and more to perfect those strokes. And you don't have to teach, guys, if you don't want to. Again, a lot of people just do these courses just to bump themselves up in their learning, and that's what I started off, right? I just kind of like, okay, I just want to learn and have. Back then, that was the way to do it, and we didn't have Zoom and all these online classes available back then, so I did a home study, and I definitely had some struggles trying to figure things out on my own, and trying to read through the binder, and so I'm here now, guys, on Zoom, and you can have the recordings of that as well, and I can help you, guide you through those process of all these courses, and even my own ultimate program too. I'm here for you guys. You need an extra Zoom class live with me anytime to the program, you can just message me, let me know, send me your pictures on Facebook Messenger. I can circle things and show you which ones you're doing good on, which ones still need work. I can guide you one way or another, either live on Zoom or through Messenger. Very easy. Some of my VIPs, I call you guys my VIPs because you're very important painters to me, and so there is extra perks with you guys that have sign-ups for my program, and then when you sign up to any of these events, you actually save another 20% off of your event. So that's set up with the live events only. So guys, if you need more help with your one stroke, definitely it's there for you today to check out. So with today, we do have a PDF, right? I always give you guys a PDF to go with the projects, and it has your full supply list here, everything you need, pattern to print out. There's some extra flower practice that we're going to be doing today, and some leaves. So you can put these in plastic sheets or print them out, put them underneath wax paper or any clear plastic, and then you can copy right over my strokes with my sheets. Okay, and then the pictorial process, you guys can see how I laid out the flowers, started them up, and then all the flowers in different size brushes depending on how big you make the flowers, right? So there's lots of different variations that we can play around with to get these flowers done, right? Depending on how you want to make them. So very simple ones. If you want to throw roses in there, if you want to throw, any daisies in there, definitely, you can add whatever floral color combination that you might want to put. If you want to use more of the pinks and the yellows and oranges, reds, more warmer colors, definitely you can change up your colors of your flowers however you like it. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I bumped these up a little bit, and then also how I laid out the skull here and got the extra shading in there, and definitely patterns. I drew it out. It took me a while playing around with it to get the right shape and everything. So you don't have to worry about learning how to draw with these projects. We mostly want to learn how to paint, right? So definitely having the patterns. And even for myself, guys, when I do things the second time, I tend to like to even use my own pattern to get me started so I can do these things again. And so you can just print out your pattern, and then you'll be able to transfer that. But first we have to get our background done, and then we can start doing the flowers. How you guys doing here? I gotta check out some comments here. I'm used to people just unmuting themselves on Zoom and asking me questions. I think there's a little arrow that you can click at the top of the page here somewhere or underneath my video that will give you a share option. You can share on your Facebook while it's still early in the night, and hopefully we can get a few more people here. Hey Gail, hey, so nice to meet you guys. Check it out. I'm so excited to be here today. I know I'm kind of new at this. I don't have that many followers like Miss Donna has millions, but I got 1,000. I think I said I got over 1,000 viewers or subscribers on my Facebook. Subscribers on my YouTube. I don't even know where I am right now. I'm so excited. I'm here. Let me know. Is it hot today? Where you are? It's actually not too bad. We have some pretty nice weather going on here today in Canada. And yes, guys, I am here from Canada, and my site is based in Canadian dollars. So transferring it over to the US or different countries, my system will do it automatically, okay? So if you're not sure, just check out, there's a currency link converter that you can find on Google. Put the amount in there and your currency, and you'll see that that'll be the amount that'll be on the statement, and it changes daily, guys, so I can't always tell you what the percentages are. Hopefully our Canadian dollar will get better, but right now for you guys buying in the US up here, it's actually better for you right now. Yeah, this is so awesome. You guys are here with me on YouTube today. And we're going to play around with a easy way of doing the faux barn board. Okay, you don't have to do it on wood. You can easily do this on a canvas. I'm doing this on a canvas board right now. And we can make this look like wood. All right, in some wood you get doesn't have a very nice grain, not very much nice color to it. There is ways of making wood look old by dousing vinegar or rusty. You can Google it. There's ways of doing making your wood look old, but with the one-stroke technique, we definitely, if you guys are new to one-stroke that are finding this video here today, definitely we like to double load our brush. We like to even double load our painting sponges. Okay, so we just need to dampen that sponge a little bit so it'll accept the paint. And then I'm going to pick up some licorice or some pure black and start blending the white and black together so that I get a nice gradient of gray in the middle. Okay, so we don't want too much black, so definitely come over to the white a little bit more than the black. Okay, and then what we're going to do is start pulling strips of paint color in a downward position. Okay, so I'm just doing really random stripes, guys. They're not anything in any kind of motion right now except for just up and down. And depending on how thin you want to make your boards or the illusion of your boards. You can definitely make just a couple big boards or 3 small boards. You know, it really just depends. Okay, so starting to get to muddy gray. I definitely want to keep picking up some fresh black and some fresh white. But first of all, I'm just kind of randomly going up and down, getting that coverage in there. I can always soften the black. I'm just letting it go. I'm not trying to push too hard, but hard enough to get the paint in the canvas, right? Gotta kind of scrub it in a little bit. Right, we don't want this to be too light or too dark. A nice medium color. Okay, so you can see when I want more coverage, I push a little harder. And I can push a little harder to one side or the other, depending on what I want more of. If I want to have more dark streaks, I'm going to put more pressure on my dark side. If I want to add more light streaks, I'm going to come over to my right side and add more light areas. Okay. So you can definitely start to put pressure on it and put a little bit more of a soft line to start creating some boards in here as well. And what I like to do is put a little bit of shading on both sides. Okay, so just softly, off center a little bit, right? We want it to be a little bit interesting. Nothing, everything doesn't have to be totally all centered and symmetrical. I can even put another little board over here on the side if I want a little bit more. So this is definitely a little bit more than I did in the other one. I was just doing a very soft and simple one. And if you like that soft and simple, you definitely can do that too. You don't have to put any kind of strong lines in there per se. And so we're just putting the illusion of these boards. Okay. Then I'm going to come over and reload my sponge here a little bit with some fresh paint again. And now what I want to do is what I call like a sputtering effect. Okay, because it's pretty grayish looking, right? Pretty soft. But I want to start adding some lighter colors. Okay, so what I'm doing is very lightly. If you push too hard, you're going to get too much coverage. Then you may have to start blending it again and getting more of that streaky look back in there again. Okay, so I'll show you over here a little bit more. And a lot of this is going to be covered too, guys. So you can practice, you know, more in the middle, and then you know that you're going to be covering it if you don't like it. And the wonderful thing about the paint, guys, is you don't have to worry about, you can always go over it. Okay, so I got a little tiny bit of paint on my sponge, and I'm just kind of very lightly scratching the canvas. So again, you can put a little bit more pressure if you want in the middle, if you want to grate things off. If you're not liking the way it's looking, you can definitely keep going over it. But what I wanted to do is get a little bit more of a streaky, sputtering kind of look. You can definitely start pulling some dark from your edges of your canvas. If you're doing a wrap canvas, guys, make sure that you're doing all around your sides too. Right, and that way you don't have to get a frame. But these I think this would look really cool in a frame too. If you got an old rustic white frame for it, it would look pretty cool. I'm just going around the edge of my boards just in case I can also hang this. Have you guys seen my painting hacks? I have those little tabby things I found that you can stick on the back. Okay, so I'm grabbing just a little bit of fresh paint, again very lightly, trying to add some skimpy marks, some wear marks into the wood. Alright, so it's just like a faux look. And then I don't like to spend too much time going crazy. Like I want to paint in some grains a little bit more with my brush, but sometimes I'll do that after I get my pattern on, and I'll do that with a brush so that I can work around it. Like there's no sense trying to do all this work in grains and then you're going to cover it, right? So just trying to get a little bit more coverage on gray, and then I'll flip my canvas upside down so I can start pulling off the edges in both directions. Okay, so just for a faux soft look. Again, your focus is going to be the painting, the skull, and all the flowers. And this is just that blurred effect of faux barn board, like a real soft grayish look. Okay, some people like to float in bits of brown in there too. Yeah, you can definitely do that. I like using a bit of bark brown or a little bit of burnt umber with some white. You can lighten it up a little bit. Okay, so over on my black side, I want to just take whatever paint I have out of here just by putting it into a towel. You guys can't see it, but I got nothing left in there basically. And I'm just coming over to pick up a little bit of that bark brown. Okay, and again, I want to do a little bit of that soft, sputtering kind of effect. So you can just kind of give it a little bit more of a little bit warmer tone. And this should be almost dry, guys. You shouldn't have that much paint on your canvas that it's soaking wet still. By now it should be starting to layer a little bit more. And you can definitely put a little bit more of brown tones in there. And really bump this up. Leave it like that. Or you can start putting more faux grains in there. You guys got any she's watching me on the big screen. That's so awesome. I can see you big. Nice. All right, so we got 15 viewers here. Hanging on to the end. I'm going to be giving away some free projects today, and also a 5 class program series. So I'll tell you a bit more about that at the end. Definitely, if you guys have any questions for me, please pop them on, and hopefully you're sharing this right while we're watching this live, and let everybody know that we're doing a raffle here today and some pretty cool painting, I think. All right, you're just popping on. I'm going to show you quick what we're doing here. So I didn't put any browns in here. I just kind of made them really more cool because there's a lot of brown, not a lot, but there's a more warmer tone going on in the skull. So I definitely don't want to be putting too much brown to the background. It's just little skids of hints and misses of just that little bit of warmth. And I'm going to put my sponge in the water because I don't really need that anymore. Alright, guys, and definitely you can keep going. Oops, actually, let me show you on this one. Okay, we would definitely need some floating medium. And what I like to do is dampen my brush a little bit with actually, let's get a 3/4, a little bit bigger. That's easier. Dampen my brush originally with some floating medium. Okay, then I'm going to come over and pick up just the smallest amount of black, and then I'm going to add more floating medium into that black so that we get a little bit more of a wash, translucent black. Okay. Sometimes I even like to stick a little bit of brown into my black, just so that it starts to soften it a little bit, makes it a little bit more like a warmer charcoal. And then if you want to start making a little bit more stronger boards, so you're just going to use that gradient line, add a little stronger line in here, separate things. So if you don't have enough definition in between two boards, you can always go back and add more. But what I like to do first is see what's going on in my canvas. Sometimes I have some areas that are already working for me with highlighted areas. Okay, so sometimes I'll like to use my light areas that I find. Okay. Do a little bit more of a V shape one way and the other way. So you can start building some knots. Okay, keep adding some floating medium. Now you can go inside here and make them a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller, like depending on how you feel. Like if you just, oh, maybe I want to add maybe another little one, and they're going to be bigger and more farther apart, right? And try not to be too neat about it, guys. You want this to be definitely loose and different shapes, and right, so you don't have to have it very, very strong. Sometimes it can just disappear, right? So you can definitely add more streaky areas into your barn board look, right? If you feel like you just not enough definition. But like I said, I usually like to put the pattern on first. Right, so I did go ahead and start another board, so then that way it'd be a little bit quicker for you guys. And I transferred on my pattern. And depending on if you're really light or really dark, you may need white transfer paper, you know, or black, right? So that you guys can see. So hopefully you guys see. Let me just double check here. Yeah, you can see, eh? And so you can definitely pop on your pattern at this point. And then this is where I would be deciding, now, where do I want to enhance? Okay, so I didn't do any of those boards on this one. So I can definitely float in two directions. You're going to put your color one way and float your color down the other way. And I can see that you're not going to see the whole board. So you can skimp around it a little bit this way. So you can, even if you want to add this at the end, you know, you can definitely float in a little bit more separation with your board look. Right? And then often I put a little bit more shadow around it as well. Okay, so we're just going to do a quick separation here. Keep adding some floating medium. See, I'm just skidding it along, and I'm trying not to be too neat about it. And I don't want to go too dark. Go on both sides. You can always add more dimension, a little bit more darker streaks here and there. A little bit more You're too washed out from your sponge. You over mixed it maybe, right? It's often, sometimes we do. You're too light, too dark. You can definitely start adding a little bit more. Again, even with the browns. Oop, needs help. Too heavy, wipe it off. All right, so you see how I still got that brown kind of look happening here? Even though I wiped it off, it almost gives it a little bit of a stain look. So that's another way you can do it too, is just kind of put it on and then wipe it off. So you're just getting that little bit of warm dirtiness in there. Right, and then now if I want to add a little bit more of a wood grain look, then I can definitely pop, you know, them in over here where you can see them. Right. Just adding a little bit of floating medium, and a bigger brush is actually easier to do, but you only have to have the smallest amount of paint on the tip. Right, so you get that translucent look. Right, sometimes we have these little lines coming around a little bit stronger. You guys seen my welcome sign. Hopefully you guys have played a little bit with wood grain already with me. But we were doing them more in the warmer tones, like wood looking colors. So, you know, definitely this is a little bit more like, oh, we have done this before in the door. Yes, friendship wreath. Okay, so some can be a little bit darker, some can be very washed out, very soft, right? So you definitely don't want them to be too dark. And a little bit more floating medium. I'm trying to make some look like they're off to the side of my, right? Not everything has to be like in view, right? So I want to make it look like these ones are, the wood was cut off, right? And then where the green is, right? So you can always pop in, anywhere down here, but not too much. Less is more, right? So we definitely want to try and make the skull the star of the show. So what do you think about that? It's pretty easy, right? Just with some floating medium. Oh, we have another board there. Got to make the illusion of that board coming up here. Always intensify this a little bit more. Right, you're just putting the shading on both sides of the line. Then once this is dry, then definitely you can start working on getting the base coat of your skull done. All right. So what do you think of that? Pretty cool? All right, so we're gonna pick up some white. And I wanna pick up some coffee latte for now. And we're gonna use our big 3/4 brush still. And I'm just going to multi-load these two colors together. And I'm going to show you how I start base coating my patterned area. Okay, so I have where the lines are is only going to be black for the horns. So the first thing I want to do is go around all my edges and get that little bit of coffee latte in around the edges, around the outside. Okay, and we can cover up all this area. It's not going to really matter because this is where you're going to be putting your flowers. Okay, and right down the middle, we can always add that line back in. Okay, so if you do want to keep yourself a little bit of a line look, just use the chisel of your brush and make a score mark down inside your white, so then that way you can remember where your line was. Okay, while you do it while it's wet. And then I'm going to keep coming down, keep adding more fresh paint as I need it. And then what I'm going to do here, guys, is I'm going to skip around my eyes. Okay, so then that way I can remember where they are. And just flip-flopping that coverage in with my brush. And then again, I want to make sure that I remember where all these little marks are. Okay, so you can put a little bit of, use your coffee latte as your marker too, right? So you're just adding that shading in and base coating all at the same time. So I'd rather do 2 thin coats than make these too thick. Okay, too gloppy. You can always get a blow dryer and dry this a little bit and then add another coat if it's looking too streaky. Okay, so we have to fight through that gray. And put my base coat and shading in all at the same time. I'm just going to color out on this side. Working around my eye. And then just getting that dark in there. Flip around. Right, you can paint it all white and then go back in and do your shading all the way around too if you want. But this way you can preserve your pattern lines. If you start to just get a little bit of darker color around those edges. Okay. Let's start this first, then I can start doing the black, and then I can start playing around with maybe even adding a little bit of my flowers, and then while this is drying I can always come back and add more. Okay, so just a nice loose coverage, you know, right now. Doesn't have to be perfect. As long as you're getting the white in there and you're getting that shading all the way around your edges. Okay, flip your stuff around if you have to. We're getting there, right? And so I'm just trying to keep that shape and get that white in there. Because we are going to go around this again. a little bit of that darker gray color. Okay, so we just got to get that shape in there. And that's why the pattern will help you. Okay, so it's available now on my site. And then I want to come in here and add dark to dark to kind of follow the coverage here. And then if you got too much paint, use your fingers. Wipe some off, smooth it off. Oops. Glob it on like I am. And so I just keep turning my brush depending on if I'm doing this side or this side. Right. You can use the chisel of your brush with that darker color. To draw the shapes. Turn my brush around. This is a mottled kind of soft gray. We're going to put more shading and details in there just to get it smooth. Hopefully this is starting to dry. I can probably come back up over it. And it'll dry much faster for you if you put it on thinner. And then you'll be able to layer some more color in there. And like I said, I'm not too worried about the top here because we can hide stuff with that. Okay, so just kind of loosely coming in to give it some more coverage. Okay, and then we'll be able to put in those other lines again. Definitely needs another coat. We'll just leave it like that because eventually you're going to get to a point where it just keeps lifting off the paint. So you definitely want to be able to lay that paint on its side, not chisel it off. Very, very light strokes as it gets to this point so that you're not wiping off the paint. Okay, so now we want to come over and grab some of that black. And I also want to grab just a little bit of white on my, where that translucent color was before. Now we can add a little bit of white. Okay, make a little bit of a soft gray on the one side. And we can start coming in and base coating our horn. Okay, so I'm using the black as my drawing, the shape on the outside. So it's going to be a little bit softer. It won't be totally 100% black. Okay, and then you can come around all your edges the same way and just flip-flop a little bit of that lighter gray in here. Okay, so it's just so it's not so black. Up around your edges. So this project won't take too long, really. And so again, I'm just going flat to my side of the head. Smooth it around. Okay, so it's starting to have some shape to it. And up here, you're not even really going to see too much. Okay. How you guys doing there? You liking what you're seeing so far? Sorry, late painting windows. Got lost track of time. I know, painting can do that. You just get lost in your zone, and then all of a sudden you look up and it's like, where did the time go? Okay, so basically it's just base coating to get that color in there for now. And then we can start deciding what colors you want to put. Like originally I did use the magenta and white, magenta and a bit of cobalt. I was playing around with dioxazine purple and aqua. And I got, maybe we'll need a little bit more white. I haven't done a live in a while. Like I said, I'm so used to you guys on Zoom, just unmuting yourself whenever you want to say something or have a question. Hey, Melissa, you made it awesome. Good luck with your new job. Hopefully it's a good one for you. And who else do we have? Anybody else that I missed there? Lola. Hi, Lola. You loving it? Thank you so much for joining us. Keep commenting, guys. You make sure that everybody has commented at least once, because I'm going to be going through the comments here to pick some winners. And then if you guys missed the new projects that we're doing in August, I'll kind of show you guys again at the end. Okay, so we definitely got a little bit of tackiness here. We can dry this a little bit, or we can just keep moving up into the flower area. Right, and then I want to play around with dioxazine purple. So sometimes you can do like a faux kind of style with flip-flopping your brush, or you can use your scruffy brush. I just flip-flopped some loose color down. So we're going to use some citrus and some sap green for our foliage areas. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is grab a little bit of magenta, and I'm going to have those two big focal flowers, so I just kind of wanted to start adding a little bit of placement. I can just use my brush on the corner. I'm not even totally loaded here, and I can just start flip-flopping a little bit of a round shape for my flowers. Okay, then I want to come over and grab a little bit of sap. And again, I'm just kind of doing a loose kind of flip-flop, adding some greenery. I can add some darker areas in here first. And then you can definitely come in and flip-flop a little bit of citrus green or a little bit lighter colors in there too. So just kind of mapping out where I want a little bit of my foliage look. I'm gonna come over and pick up just a little bit of citrus, tap that in there. And like I said, just a loose color kind of modeling effect. I don't want it to be too thick either, so I'm just kind of tapping it with my fingers. So then that way it's a little bit thinner, and then it's still giving me like a little bit of a freckly look. There's so many ideas with this, guys. Like, I mean, you can definitely play the Aboriginal style up. I've seen, like, when I started Googling these skulls, you know, I've seen a lot of feathers in here too, and I thought, well, should I or shouldn't I? And I thought, oh no, I'll just do it simple. And then after, like, I'm always thinking I should add more. All right. So if you want to add some strings on your cowl, then I'm going to use my liner brush. And I want to come over and grab some of this coffee latte, and then I'm going to come over and flip a little bit over into my white. Okay, so then I can get maybe some streaky looks of two-tone on even my little liner brush. So what I want to do this time a little bit differently is I'm going to add some strings. We might even need a little bit of burnt umber. This for this to stand out a little bit more. Maybe a little bit of burnt umber and a little bit of white. Okay, so you're gonna do some strings. So a lot of times they'll actually wrap twine around the base of the skull here. I'm gonna keep picking up light and dark so that you can see some definition in between your twine here now. Okay, so I can do these 3 wraparounds. Okay, and they're right beside each other. Maybe one's a little bit lighter, one's a little bit darker, right? Anything to make sure that they kind of look a little different. Okay, so we're just wrapping that with a very soft, subtle curve to it. Very, very subtle, guys. Just a soft streakiness. You can always put a little bit of Pablo in there if you want, a little bit more orangier color for this string. Right, and we can always add some more highlights to this after too. Okay, so I want to add just a little bit of water on my brush, just because I want to add a little bit more of a string. Okay, so I want this to float. So you can add a little bit more water in there, and then we can tie some strings. So it is wrapped around his head, and then there's maybe a little feather there. One coming from this and then floating to the side. So while you play around with all these little extra elements, you'll definitely be dry. Oops. On the skull to do another coat. So sorry, guys. My allergies have been driving me crazy lately. Okay, so what I want to do actually is just come over and pick up some white. And sometimes I'll just float in the middle, that extra coverage. And just get that white in there. Okay, so we got a big area here. It'll brighten up pretty fast. Okay, and then once I got all that white in there, because we're doing a big area, then I'll come over and grab some of that coffee latte again. And then I'll come around and soften. Get some extra coverage, maybe put a little bit more shading underneath my flower area. And then, like I said, this is just for coverage, guys. Sorry. And now it's starting to get a lot softer. More coverage. Can always just use a little bit of floating medium and just one color to go around your edges too, if you feel like you need a little bit more control. But I love multi-loading my brush. It's not just to create the flowers, guys. It's, you know, again, base coating. If you can see, I'm multitasking the highlights and the shadow, preserving my pattern, and getting the highlights and shadow, like, you know, all together and blending all in one. Right, so I don't have to, oops, grab one color and layer more and one more. So it's a little bit soft, dirty like this. That's okay too, because, you know, a lot of times these are found in the forest and covered in dirt, and sometimes they're dirty unless you put them in a bleach bath. Then, you know, maybe they'll look a little bit old too, right? Alright, so this is starting to look a little bit better. And then we can let that dry a little bit and carry on to some of our flowers. How's it going? I usually don't like skulls, but these starting to look awesome. Yeah, it's a bit rustic, right? Some people are, like Canadians, we have a lot of Aboriginal up here, so we're very influenced by more native styles. And especially Dorothy out in Alberta there, she's definitely around a lot of that kind of stuff too. It's so beautiful to see how they dress and dance. It's just amazing. I grew up in Timmins, up north of Ontario. So again, we had a lot of that up there. Okay, so we're going to start with a 12 and place some leaves around the edges. Okay, sometimes we can pick up one color and then come over and side load beside your highlight color. We're going to try and put our leaves in placements, right? Maybe we have one that's going to come over here, and you know, you can do different styles of leaves, but you're really just going to see the edges of it, and hopefully you won't fill them up too much like I did and cover all of them after. Okay, so we can always pop in a few more leaves here and there. Pressure to the point, and then drag it back down. And so hopefully you guys have taken some of my courses or seen a lot of Donna's. Right, you're having an okay time to be able to do this, but definitely reach out and talk to me, guys, if you're having a hard time or you're brand new to one stroke and you're not used to it. And you need to start with a beginner program. And so I'm trying not to make these too big, and I've spread them around so they look a little bit different. Okay, so pressure to a point, up on your chisel, slide down, and then start applying pressure slowly at a time to bring yourself back to your starting point. Okay, so again, we can use our chisels to put those stems in there. Okay, so I'm using the light to follow into the dark so that you can see them, right? And that's good for now. We can always put in a few more leaves, you know, trailing little one-stroke leaves, or I put them in with the shadow leaves with the blues or Parisian or the dioxine, right? Just play around with smaller little tiny brushes. All right, so let's get into our bigger flowers here. And I love, if you don't have mulberries, or this is a Juneberry, one of our favorites, really plummy one. You can definitely make it yourself by using magenta. Right, we're going to use a clean spot to float that in. And then just the smallest amount of cobalt, or definitely, you know, any purples is going to kind of give it a little bit more of a plummy look to it. And so we're going to do like some 5-petal flowers. Right? So you figure out where you want your placement, right? You can just do like little tips, tip tap, tap tap over onto like a star pattern, so that way you can kind of judge how you're going to spread out these petals. Right, so we're doing a little bit of a teardrop style, right? Just pressure, pull, and bring back down. Okay, so I'm a little bit too much liquid in my brush. Just wipe it off on a towel, and then redo your gradient with some little thicker paint. Okay, so when you're rinsing your brushes, you just gotta really be careful not to wipe them out on a towel really good to get that moisture out of your brush. Okay, so pressure, couple wiggles, and then pull towards, always pulling towards the center. Do both sides, and then under. And so it looks like a little man with 2 arms, 2 hands, 2 legs. And pull and push up with your chisel. And so if you don't get good coverage, you know, you definitely can go over things again. And I don't want it to be too dark. I can always add a bit more shading in there too. Just strictly mostly the magenta, and these can be like slightly different colors. Right? One can be a little darker than the other, and that's why I love blending 2 colors together to create new colors while I'm doing my 1-stroke technique. Right? So I don't have to sit and mix colors. I can just go dip here, dip a little here, blend here on my plate, grab my white, and then do my stroke, and I have my flower petals. Right. Love the 1-stroke for the simplicity of doing the, see, I'm getting much better coverage here because my brush was just way too wet. Okay, so we can just put 2 big ones there. And then I did add a little bit more filler after, right, to put more of this color in. And I'm trying to make it look like a little bit of a halo for him. Okay, so now we're going to come over and grab some of that aqua and Parisian blue. And give us another different color combination, a little bit different. And you can definitely downsize on your brush, guys, if you want to make these a little bit smaller, or you're just going to press a little lighter on your stroke. So again, we can definitely make smaller flowers by less pressure. right? So I'm hardly pressing at all, just guiding the tip around the edge. Right? So it's really good to be able to focus your pressure, right? So you're pushing as hard as you can to get those flowers bigger, and then you're pushing very tiny to get them smaller. I didn't change size brushes. It's all about pressure, guys. Okay, so that's looking a little bit dark. I can always add a little bit of white into my aqua. Give a little bit brighter look on the edge. Sometimes we can do like half of a flower sticking out, so we're just kind of peeking that in. Right. Don't always have to do full. I'm just going to put another one here on top. I usually like to try to build from the center and then work my way out wider. You see it's a little bit brighter here. I can layer this flower right on top of this one, and it'll stand out a little bit stronger. Right, because this one's darker underneath and with no white, and then this has a little bit of white. And then I'm gonna put maybe another whole flower here, but we're working on top here, so sometimes if I don't know how far away I'm going to be, I'm not going to be too far or too close, right? So sometimes I'll actually build my flowers upside down. So we're doing the feet first so that I can get that in there nice and close. All right. Then I can come over and build it kind of upside down. I'm a dyslexic, I think. Alright, and that way you can see that it's a little bit more joining. Okay, so we have a couple full flowers in there. Pop out maybe a little bit, another half flower over here. Okay, so running out of paint, dip, dip. Come over here, blend it really good. You want at least 2/3 of your brush loaded right up to, but not shoving it all into the steel ferrule. Okay, then I go over and tip over a little bit, grab some white. 1, 2, you don't have to blend it in very strong. Then you'll get that nice little bit of a brighter edge when you do your flower. Okay, so you'll get 3 colors. And so over here I still have my white. Come over and pick that up a little bit. Okay, so you don't have to have white around all of your edges. And if I get something on my flower, I can always erase it a little bit. But a lot of times when I'm doing flowers like this, I'll go and do all my flowers, and then I'll end up going over these guys again to bring them back up in front again. Sometimes I like to add a little bit more highlights or adding a little bit more shadows. So I want to start adding some more little filler flowers. You can just do little tiny daisy stroke style. And then as you're getting a little closer, you can change some of them to more of your small little petals. I'm going to add some more filler leaves in there too. And then we can do some fillers trailing. Always add a little bit more leaves in there. But I try not to do too much on the body here. We could always add more. Put a couple more smaller ones here. You can always add more leaves in there. We definitely want more fillers in there. Yes, that's a good place to stop for now. And then this is really nice and dry now, guys. Oh, we got lots of viewers coming on now. I wasn't paying attention to you guys. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm so excited. I'm over 1,000 viewers and subscribers on my YouTube now. And I thought it's time for me to come and give you guys a live painting. Yes, awesome. And I'm going to be picking from a winner from this bunch of comments here. I got some raffles at the end I'm going to be giving away. Alright, so now we want to pick up some, clean that brush. I'm going to grab some floating medium and some black, and we're going to do a little bit of that gradient again that we were doing like with the faux wood. Okay, but this time we are going to use it to do some little extra soft shadows around the edges of our skull. Okay, so hopefully you're gonna get that brown. Hopefully you guys can see. Where I'm coming around the edge. Give you a little bit more depth into it, but I'm still keeping that browny look around the edges. Oops, wrong side. Okay, so this time you can come right up and kind of go right up under your flowers too. Add some shading. Okay, so you're just kind of having lots of floating medium in there, just so you're kind of dirtying the white a little bit, softening it. Okay, and use your fingers, guys, to kind of blend it in a little bit too if you want. Alright, so again, I'm putting that gray tones into the brown. So you have a lot more gray, a little bit of brown. Here is more brown and a little bit of gray. Right, so they're very gonna soften and marry each other. Okay, so again, I'm coming around. Not worrying about my eye right now. Just using the black and the floating medium to get my shape and my edges done. Some floating medium in there. I got too much paint in there. I can actually wipe out some of it. So again, all the way around. Inky kind of black, guys. Very translucent. There we go. I got too much paint in there, that's why. I like when I goof up in front of you guys. I don't even try to be totally perfect anymore in front of you guys. I just let whatever little accidents happen. And then that way it gives me opportunities to show you guys how to get out of it, because if I make it look too perfect and too easy, then you think, oh, that's not for me, I can't do this. But I find a lot of people like the fact that I kind of mess up in places sometimes, because then there's always a way of getting around it and cleaning it up and fixing it. Okay, so now I'm just kind of going around the nose and underneath the nose. So you shouldn't be getting that much black coverage, guys. You should still have that secondary shadow of your brown. And so now I want to come over and add my eyes. Okay, so you can just do that little bit of a black shape around your pattern. And if you see a little bit of your background through here, it's not a bad thing too, right? You want to see maybe a little bit lighter area. And then, like I said, you can always go in and intensify this a little bit more. Okay, so there's the black for the eyes. And then what I did, guys, for my lines, I just used the chisel of my brush for now. Okay, so you're going to draw lines. One was basically from the center of the eye on an angle forward, or maybe 2/3 down, not center, and then slide your chisel to draw your line that way. Okay, so they should kind of center up. Then underneath the eye, parallel, there's your other little stripe. Then there was a little bit of a marking line in the skull. Okay, if you lost your little lines that I put in there. And there was another hollow area that come up around the back here. Okay. So sometimes I have done the outside of the base of the skull and then put my pattern back on again to get all these little lines in there if you need to. Okay, so I'm just kind of showing you how I put that in there after, right? So a little bit more shadowing to go in there, but we're just blocking shape right now with the chisel. Right, so you can draw with your brush and clean your brush. We want just the edge and floating medium again. So we can soften this line by adding shading on both sides. Okay. Trying a little bit more under here. Always add all this under after the when you're done all your flowers. So here we're gonna do shading over here. And go upside down. So you're gonna add shading along all those lines. First start the placement with a liner brush, and then you're gonna soften those lines with a little bit of a shading. And just one color and your floating medium. Floating medium is just like your paint, except for it is translucent. Right, so we're still multi-loading, because you really got to focus on just adding color to one corner of your brush and have it stay clear. Okay, so see how it's starting to soft now? Because I'm adding shading on both sides of the line. Okay, so just try not to let any dirty medium make a stripe underneath. I just use my fingers to kind of blend that out. And then again, shading both sides of my line. Okay, so start a little softer. Now I want to add a little bit more shading under here. This is very dark under here. This recesses inside the skull, this area here. So you can definitely make this a little bit darker. And it's going to fade right out. Okay, so I got too much black on my brush. Pick up some more floating medium. So I can soften that a little bit more. Floating medium. Floating medium will be like an eraser too, right? If your black is too heavy. So you want this to be like a glazing effect almost on top of here. Okay, you see how it's starting to look lower now? Deeper down in underneath the skull. And one stroke away. Right. So that's how I got all that color in there. And then also adding shading to the outside of the skull as well. And add a little shading underneath, just to soften things, you know, just underneath the horn. Underneath here. Help clean up anything that your edges maybe a bit more need help cleaning things up. This extra little shading definitely helps. Oops, you guys see? I know, I said, oh, we're just gonna do something simple, and then I always have to complicate it, right? I add more. Right, again, let things dry, see how you feel. You can always add more. Or if you need a little lightening up if something's too dirty, then just add a little bit of white into there. But you want a dirty white, but you want it to be kind of soft too. Right? Oops. Too heavy. There we go. There's a tiny little bit of brown that was sticking out the edge that was bugging me. Alrighty, so we're gonna put some more flowers in here. Alright, add some more shading in here. And you can definitely see if you want to put more wood grain in here, you can always add more. Right. Little suede ties on there. Okay, so I want to come in and add some more of those lighter pink mulberry style of flowers in there. And you guys know me, if I'm not getting coverage, I'll go over things again. I should start off where we started. And then that way, if I got any blue on there, I can always brighten these up a little bit too. So I usually just let it go the first time. And then if I feel like I want to brighten things up a bit more, then I can always add another coat. Getting blue in my white. Which can be fun sometimes, but I want to keep that a little bit clean. And nice and vibrant. Because sometimes those darker colors in the background make it a little bit hard to get that nice bright color. So just take the time and go over it a little bit. And so again, I want to put in more filler, trying to make these maybe a little bit different, maybe a little bit even skinnier. Right, just kind of playing here. Again, trying not to cover our leaves. Right, so sometimes I'll even put them in with the blue. Right, we'll take here. So you have a variety of areas with both colors. So now that we have our skull covered more, I can definitely maybe add more fillers and little leaves on there. And make room for my little fillers. Little ticks or just little pressures. And then I used my 6 for just those little, or an 8, something smaller. With just some darker ones. There's little interesting little leaves here and there. And I won't really see it too much there, but we can pop in a couple sprigs here and there. Just one color on these little size 6 leaves is good enough. Sometimes it's nice to have that contrast of darkness. A little bit more. Can't really see it too much there. Sometimes you can even do more like little fillers in on top of your colors, just to break them up a little bit more. Adding like a little leaf look in between. A few more colors. Helps to break things up a little bit more too when you're adding some of those. Okay. And then just for centers on these guys, I made them just very, very, very subtle. I did use just the back of my brush to add some white little areas here, just random little dots on this one. Okay, just to center that in there. But if you're feeling you want a little bit more depth into those flowers, you can use that floating medium trick too with your dioxine purple. And we can always float in a little bit more depth in around your flowers. Just at the base, just around those little centers that you made. It puts in almost like that third color a little bit differently. Get a lot more base to it. And then we need some yellow maybe for our little centers. And if I want to be really focused, sometimes I'll use my #2 script liner and put them in that way as well. If you really want to make them tiny and focused, really little centers, make them a little bit brighter. Okay, so we've got at least 3 big guys and some half ones. And if you want to really make it a little bit more aboriginal, then to get one of our feather brushes out and we can create a nice little faux feather. And when you're doing the feather brushes and liner brushes and fan brushes, basically what these are like little detailers, right? So you're gonna get, I was trying to find some dry paint there that you guys can see those little streaks that we're gonna get with this little fine little brush here, right? So sometimes we need it a little bit more runnier, then we're gonna need a water to go with it. The floating medium will sometimes still be a thicker consistency. Okay, so I'm going to add some feathers into here, and basically what you're doing is you're building little mustaches. You're going to come out a little bit bigger and wider, coming straight out from the side. Sometimes I like to do one side more than the other, and then I'll come over and do the other side all by itself. All right, so we're just trying to get some white in there. Hopefully you guys seen my dream catcher project as well. We did some feathers in that. Okay, so you gotta have the coverage, but you have to have the slip. Right, so you definitely want it to look a little bit skippy looking. Right, a little bit soft. And it all coming to a point at the bottom here, a little bit smaller at a time. Okay, so just try to get that one color in there for now. And then maybe we'll out, a little bit smaller, a little bit smaller. You can always wisp a few out. Right, if you have too much coverage, right, that's usually what happens. I try to make them look a little smaller. Then you can always come back in. Once you start using your brush, I always find that the feather brush gets better as you keep using it. Once you're starting to unload it, then you can come in and make it a little bit wider, and you'll have those little wispiness. It won't be so much coverage. Make that one a little bit longer. Okay, so now I'll pick up a little bit of aqua, and where I'm going to hit that is just here and there, guys. I don't want it to be over through the whole feather. I'm going to brick layer it a little bit. Right, adding bits of blue. Might need a little bit of water in that blue as well. Just a little bit, guys, just to get it to move. And then it's nice actually to put a little bit of Tableau or something a little bit brighter in brown. Okay, so just one dip into the water and then test it to see how you're liking it. If you put too much water, then there's going to be too much translucent. Okay, so I add the water, then I wipe out my brush so that I can just grab the tips. Right? We'll use it a little bit on some things to get rid of most of that paint. And then you can add some more warmth tones to it. I always like layering with this two different colors. And once we start getting the white down and then the colors in, then I go and rinse my brush, and then I go back over it and I grab some more white. Then you can always intensify areas, soften some of your colors, and get the look that you're looking for. So because you want some of those translucent white areas, and you want some stronger white areas. So I always find that if you go over with your different colors, then you can get that look. Play with it until you feel comfortable with the brush. This brush is amazing. I have a Santa project too. You can have more practice on that. You guys can check it out. It's free on the YouTube channel. I've got over 100 videos now here for you guys. So just pressure and then up on my tips. Right, so you want a little bit of pressure, but then you're gonna tickle the edge on the way out. You really gotta go light on the way out. Really, so you're barely touching the canvas. And just a very soft feather. And once you get all of your little mustaches done, then you can always go back over into your twirl and grab your liner brush and then just kind of neaten up this line again. And pick up a little bit of white and burnt over so you have a little bit of highlight through there. Oops. And straight in the middle. You got earrings. Got a little carried away there. Covered his eyes. I have fun with my projects, guys. It doesn't hurt to try things, right? And then we can put some dots. So it looks like little beads. Right, so sometimes I'll put white first. I need clean white. I'll finish this up. You guys can play with it however you want. Right, so I'm gonna put smaller ones and big ones. And use metallics or, you know, different colors. Right, it just look like there's little beads on here. Let it dry. And your second dot of color will turn out much better. And I'm just kind of just getting it in there just to show you that I'm double dotting these. Let them dry, guys. And then play with something else, do another flower, and then come back and double dot these. Alright, so I almost covered all my rope on that one. But you can at least see a little bit going on this one. Right. Add a few more highlights to the rope that you can see. If you want to do the more extravagant version or the simple version, I'll have to step back and give it a couple days and see which one I like better. Alright, what do you think? Still got everybody with me? Yoo-hoo! Oh yeah, sugar skulls. You know, a lot more dots. More Mexican style. More Spanish Aboriginal, lower. I'm not a big pro on all of this, but you know, I know that there's different styles of skulls. Those are actually people skulls, most of them. I don't think they're animal skulls so much. I could be wrong. You can put your opinion down in the comments. But yeah, definitely you can have a lot of fun with them. And put different colors. I'm just trying to flatten this out a little bit because I'm going to go over that again when it dries. I hope you liked it. Have fun with it. Do something a little bit different. Yeah, definitely adding the layers of the browns and the blacks. You have to let the browns dry and then put the black on top so you can still get all those brown undertones happening on the skull part. I was just playing around, fixing my dots. And then I thought I'd get the liner brush out and add a little bit more shading to my feather brush and detail my feathers a little bit more with the liner brush. And then I'm like looking at the both of them and comparing them, and then I'm like, oh no, I forgot another line right down the middle. So I definitely have to get a little bit more licorice out. And I thought, well, if I'm gonna do all this fixing, I gotta add this to the video. Thank you so much, everybody that joined me for the live event to extravagant out our cow skull here. We've had a lot of fun through it, and live events are always different than when you can sit back and relax and, you know, paint with your own time and zone out, you know, instead of trying to like talk and explain every little step that you're taking and stuff like that. So I hope that you like the process, and you know, you've got the recording now that you can easily go and stop and start me, you know, catch up and add little extra details, right? So I definitely need to add a little bit more shading here. And in fact, guys, what it's missing here too is that little tiny bit of coffee latte in there as well. Okay, so I definitely want to go in and add this little extra bit here. Right, so we're going to bring out the coffee latte a little bit further, soften this nose a little bit. I'm like, something's not right. I kept thinking it was the feathers. I need to finish my feathers. But then the more I looked at it, then I realized that, yeah, there's one little part of his nose that we need to finish. Alright guys, so thanks so much again. I hope to see you guys again at the next paint projects on Zoom, or join our Facebook group. If you're new to our Facebook, maybe you found me here on YouTube, and again, just try to make that little grayish browny kind of look. Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot this nose. Okay guys, you will find a new video in the list of project courses that are available here on YouTube with this little extra bit added to it. And it looks kind of funny, but you know, it is a skull. And it's supposed to look, I guess, not normal, right? Definitely, there's always little tweaks that, you know, I always look at it the next day with new eyes and say, oh, I could have softened this a little bit more, and I could have fixed this a little bit more. Right, so I thought, well, maybe I'll come on and show you these little extra tweaks. Okay, again, I want it just that little tiny bit darker, right, for shading under here than it is on the top of the nose, right? So we really want that nose, bridge of the nose to kind of look a little bit deeper. So sometimes we have to let things dry and then go over it a little bit more. And it's funny, I'm using an angle brush here because it's the first brush I just grabbed out of my little cup, but normally I just use a flat brush. But if you feel like you're having a hard time getting into some corners, sometimes this little angle brush definitely comes in handy sometimes. Okay, so I put too many feathers on top of my eyeball there, so I had to adjust my eyeball a little bit more, maybe add just a bit more shading in the front here, and just adjust it, right? Sometimes we have to step back. Don't always be in a hurry to finish something, and just know that we can always add more. Right, we want this to look a little bit more pronounced here. Now step 3 feet back and squint. Take pictures of it, because that's where, again, I saw something's missing, something's missing. So, yeah, there we go. Now I'm much happier with it. And then now it's be sealed. You can use a semi-gloss or a gloss. I used the gloss on the other one. Actually, it looked really magnificent on the wood. So give it a little extra sealer, and then if they decide, they can even hang this outside in their patio. Yeah, once in a while, I'll come and do a free project with you at least once a month. I'd love to come and do another live. You definitely share what's going on with new projects, maybe a little bit more with you guys. I can bring those back up again a bit for you. You can see this one a little bit better. It's too long to be under the camera. All right, so we're going to be doing this August 9th at 6 o'clock. And you can get the recording if you can't make it, but you do have to sign up now if you want the pre-launch special. It's only $15. VIP save 20%. And then it'll be $25 on the site after the event. All right. And then for you guys that might not have seen this. Oops. Go fishing. We're planning Christmas presents. You have guys in your family that love fishing, definitely fish. Okay, make them a nice gone fishing sign. And if you guys are interested, I can carry this on. I would make a little series, and we can study different fish. So if you really want to check out my walleye, can I get it for you guys? Hang on, let me get it. This was my first one that I did, gone fishing on a big scale on pine boards. We nailed them all together, and I put a little fishing dude in there. And that's my walleye. Right, I have one of these left. I sold my bass and my other rainbow trout already. Okay, so this pops out. I actually painted him on a wood thinner piece board, and then I put a spacer in there. You guys can see the spacer, and then so he's a pop out. All right, but a lot of guys were looking at him, loving them, but they didn't want to buy the big guy. So I thought, okay, I'll make a smaller one for you guys. All right, so, and I wasn't gonna make a pop out again. And then this is what came out. The baby version, but I was still wanting to make like a life-size style fish. Like I really wanted it to be, you can get a fish this size. Right? You can get them a lot bigger too, but definitely, yeah, I had a lot of fun with all these colors here too, and a pattern to get you started for this guy. So hopefully you guys are gonna join me for that coming up August 16th. If you guys are catching the replay on this video here, definitely check out my site, guys. There's lots of courses in the online project library, and you'll see that there's downloadable option or site access that you can jump on some of these projects that you might have missed live. Oh, would somebody like to win a free project? All right, better get those comments in there, guys. I've been giving you lots of chances to say something and tell me where you're from, ask a question, let me know how you're liking things. And thank you for subscribing to my YouTube channel, guys. Oh, so grateful to have this channel grow, and definitely want to do more for you guys as it's growing. If you guys are telling me that you're liking what I'm doing, then I definitely will do more. So, like I said, I'm not gonna do very, but I'm trying. I'm under her wing. I'm a certified elite that can definitely help you with your certs if you want. Take level 1, level 2, skill builders, new level 3 coming up. Jump on my program if you guys need more help. And I'm going to be giving one of those away. Spin! That's so awesome, guys. Thank you so much. Okay, hopefully we got somebody that doesn't already have my program here, but we're going to do a project. You can pick any project you want, okay? Any $25 project. And you just have to let me know what you want. Okay, I gotta close my eyes and I'm stopping. The wheel is landing on Miss Leanne. You want a free project. Okay, so you can Facebook message me and go through my list in the online library and let me know the title of the $25 one that you would like. You can see the prices a little bit easier in the downloadables if you want. Basically 2-day courses are 35 and your regular ones are 25, and then I have the 5-day series that are 125 and or 97. I have them on sale sometimes, but I'm going to give one of those away free too. And there's also the intro to one stroke program in there, the first 6 courses. If you're new to one stroke and you want to learn more, then definitely the first 6 courses will give you all the insight about how to double load your brush and what is all this medium stuff and why do I use it, when do I use it, and what brushes should I use and how to take care of those brushes, color theory. I go through all of that with you guys in the intro program. Okay, so if you're new to that program, I've got a couple VIPs here, so I might have to be selective to give away a 5 course. I have a name here that I've never seen before, Miss Lola baby. Contact me, please. I'd love to give you something free and get you started on this one stroke journey if you haven't done it before. I was to try to get some new people in. Definitely. I thank you, my VIPs. I already know you guys are part of my programs here, so I really appreciate it that you guys continue to keep learning with me. And Miss Leanne, you want a project, and then where did your name go again there? Lola baby. I love your handle. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I hope you really enjoyed it. And I can't wait to see your skulls, okay, however you do them, okay, and post them on my Facebook group for everybody to see, guys, okay? If you have any more questions, if you want to practice some of these flowers on the side on cardstock, you want to ask me some questions, send them to me in my messenger private. I'm happy to help and see what's going on with your gradients, and meet you private on Zoom too. Okay, guys, happy painting. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you again. I can't thank you enough for joining me on YouTube. We'll see you guys hopefully in the next couple of weeks of the projects. Okay, check out the description below. You'll see all the links. Bye, guys.